see if I can get any kind of viewers, which probably I won't, but let's see. Uh, and then I'll jump directly into it. Uh, so far, so good in terms of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to improve uh, the whole thing bit by bit every single day. So I hope, you know, so that I hope you guys can enjoy it somewhat. Uh, uh, all right. So yeah, the I really wanted to talk about the unfairness that we have to face in life. Um, I talked about how I feel left behind. Uh, you know, I have been feeling left behind for quite some time now. Uh, it's tough, but what else can you do? And then you also feel like life is unfair because I come from a good family. It's not like there's so much problems in my family or I'm struggling a lot. I'm 28 years old. I still have the opportunity to live with my parents, which is great in my opinion. And it's not so unpopular in our culture either from where I'm from, but at the same time, I feel like I need to get out of home uh, as soon as possible. Not because my parents are overbearing or anything like that. They're very good people. But in general, I would like to see what life holds for me outside of, what I'm just trying to do. Uh, so yeah, man. I appeared for the same exam that a lot of other people do, and I know somebody that's kind of close to me. That is, we know each other for quite some time now, and the problem with it is, I we appeared for the same examination, and my when my dreams failed, when I knew that I am not going to do this anymore, I'm not going to pursue this anymore because there was no logic in me to keep on pursuing it over and over again. The thing I failed at, I started my own business, a small business. Like I would walk. Uh, I live in like a community. I would walk through the community, and people would be like, "Oh, this is a useless guy." Because in fact, nobody really knew that I was actually kind of preparing for this exam or working my level best. But because I was at home, making a few dollars every now and then, uh, people assume that I am basically not doing anything at home. They assume that I'm just sitting around and doing nothing. You know, like I said, I've always had this, not always, like 3 years ago when I saw like, okay, this might be a risky move to make. I did start my own small business with which I was working. But the problem with it is this, uh, once I realized it was not working anymore, I had to quit. And, my life was completely filled with stress all of a sudden. Once I start realizing that, it was just, what do I do next? Because I have spent quite a few part of my life uh, in the process of preparing for what I was doing. Uh, Not too long, but in your 20s, if you spend like 3 years of your time, so from 24 to 27, I was doing that. When you do that in the prime years of your life, you do realize that while I learned how to grind, it was like 12, 13, 14 hours a day of study. Um, on top of that, I was handling my business kind of, the business. I wasn't trying to take my business off in any way, shape, or form. I just was like, let me get some, a few dollars here and there, and then I was also working a hybrid job, uh, as a kind of procurement manager for a small clothing company, a local clothing company that we have here. So I was doing all that. Meanwhile, I have had a friend who graduated way back. So this friend graduated way back, and he's older than me. And he was preparing kind of for the same examination, but in like a different domain. And it was sad, man. It was sad, because once things got over, because his parents have generational wealth. His right, his parents have generational wealth, and they're chill people. His sister comes in, his brother comes in, and they're like, What is dad going to do with all this money? He should give us the money, or he should buy us this new phone, or do this or do that. I never had that mentality. I was like, all of my parents are generous people towards me because I'm a single child. If we had two or more kids, my parents could have never like afforded to give me the life that I'm currently living. I make very less money even now, and yet like I can survive a quite a comfortable life. And I started comparing myself to him, and thinking that, oh my God, this dude is just living his life, because after he knew that it was over for him, what he did was he was like, his dad was like, you know what, you've worked so hard. I've seen you working on it, which he did. He really worked hard. It wasn't like he was from a privileged family, so he wasn't working hard. He really did work hard, at times even more than me. Um, and it was like his dad was like, "Oh, you should go on a trip to Bangkok. You should go on an international trip." And so him and his siblings, because he was tired from struggling with what I was exactly struggling with, you know. So they went on an international trip, uh, to different places actually, and started posting videos and photos on yachts and all that stuff, just enjoying his life. Uh, and here I was thinking about what's next, and it felt unfair. I won't lie, it felt severely, severely unfair to me that we were doing the same thing, and yet he could go on and just be chill about this failure, and I couldn't, you know. And it had to do with money, uh, in an overwhelming sense, and I didn't like the feeling at all. Uh, I knew my life was going to improve some way or another. I have to do that. I have to find out a way if I could improve my life, and that's all I can do. As a man, you have to improve your life and you have to move forward. You just cannot be stuck, right? You cannot do that. You cannot worry too much about the future, because nobody knows what's going to happen in the future, and nobody should dwell on the past as much. I mean, dwelling on the past that much would cause you to crash. So when he was going on this trip, I was just trying to grind out. And grind out on what? I didn't have a direction. He came back home. His dad was like, "Oh, here's a piece of land that we have. If you want to do something, you can do something with it." Right? So I was like, "You should go ahead and do something, whatever you want to do with this piece of land." And he rented it out as a commercial kind of space, and now probably makes around $2,000 $3,000 a month, which is incredible. In India, where we are from, this is like a dire tree city where we are from. It's just great money. It's just insane amount of money. $3,000 goes a long way. Like the top 1% people are making $3,000 a month, or $2,500 a month. And I was I was really heartbroken at that point of time. And then, you know, when October came around and this whole war started taking place, and I saw the kids dying left, right, it brought me back to the time when I was actually taking care of my uncle and his daughter. My uncle was going through a colon cancer, a colorectal cancer to be precise, and I was visiting him in the hospital all the time. And he was going through chemotherapy, and I used to pass by this children's ward, and I used to think to myself at that point of time that, what happened? Why is it happening to these kids? What have I done? Why do I get to live a life more comfortable than this young bucks? They are just small kids, 3, 4, 5 years old, have lost all their hair, barely understands what's fucking going on. They don't know what the fuck is going on. It's really heartbreaking to see that, right? It's really, really heartbreaking to see that. But somewhere along the way, my uncle got better. He got surgery done and he got rid of cancer. I stopped visiting the hospital. I had no reason to go to the hospital anymore. And for some reason, I had lost that perspective. And as soon as that war started, like I thought to myself, the only difference between me and them, just like between me and my friend is the fact that this person, these kids were born in the wrong time, at the wrong time, at the wrong place. That was just that that was just pure luck. And as much as I, kind of was worried about myself, and I thought to myself, oh, why my family didn't have generational wealth, and that was like, I thought to myself, this is the worst way to think about life, because there's people in much worse condition than you are at, and they're still doing their best, and doing their best to the point of exhaustion, right? And they're working 2, 3 jobs, trying to do, the right thing, and still getting really fucked up by life. Who am I to complain? So, the basic point being that there is unfairness in life. Like, there is going to be unfairness in life in every step of the way, I guess. I believe so. But the one constant you have to understand is that you, you know, and I'm not saying that you should start comparing as soon as something hits you, you should start comparing yourself to somebody that's less fortunate than you are, right? And you shouldn't do that either. I guess that's my belief, because then you are just at this point of self-loathing all the time, and you shouldn't do that either. You shouldn't self-loathe all the time, right? Because that can be harmful as well, because at the end of the day, the worst thing that has happened to you is still the worst thing that has happened to you. Uh, there is an objective perspective that you need to have. At the same time, there is a subjective perspective that you need to have as well. You need to be somewhat, at some point of time, not always, but you have to be uh, just, you have to know that it's going to work out for you. Or even if it doesn't, you have to be compassionate towards yourself, not just towards other people at some point in time. Not always. You cannot be just, oh, I deserve to slip in. That's not being compassionate towards yourself. But when you are just self-loathing and thinking, oh, I am the person, I am the person in this position, nobody else in this position. Yes, there's a lot of people in that position. There is a lot of people in that position, and you have to be grateful about it. You have to be grateful about it. Whatever. I mean, some people can't even be grateful. I can be grateful about it, and I chose to be grateful about the entirety of this thing. Yeah, did I lose a, quite a chunk of my life without having any fun and not visibly getting any results out of it? Sure, I did. But at the same time, I also have uh, found this um, great perspective that, you know, you have, as much as you look upwards towards people who are doing better than you and strive to be like them, to be in their position, you have to look downwards as well and look at people who are just way less fortunate, kids who are just way less fortunate, people who are getting the least of chances in their lives. They have no chance of making a comeback. Even I have this chance to make a comeback. I have this opportunity to make a comeback, whether it's because my parents have given me this opportunity, whether life has given me this opportunity. I am a fully functioning grown man and I can take care of myself because life has provided me with that opportunity to do so. So you need to be like, you need to look that way in life. You just cannot be, you cannot always be looking upwards towards everybody that is doing better than you. You cannot be looking downwards either all the time and look at less fortunate people and be like, oh, I am just too privileged. I'm too privileged. I'm too privileged. I don't know what the fuck this people are doing above who lives above me. There's a bim 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 fuckers. Um, I think they're having some kind of event today. But yeah, that's basically the point. Um, I, as much I would like to say more things about it. I always, again, I go back and forth between life being unfair. Well, life is unfair to everybody. It's not like it might not be equally unfair to everybody, but it's unfair to every single one. And something that I will probably talk about next, that everyone suffers, even people that you think are in a position of privilege as well, they suffer as well. It's just we don't see it happening that much because in our eyes they are in a privileged position. Uh, but a lot of them suffers from a lack of perspective that how good they are living, yet they're still complaining, just I was doing so. You know, uh, yeah, man, that's probably all I have got to say for today in terms of the live stream. Uh, uh, with that being said, I'll be on for another 10 minutes, probably 10, 12 minutes, and that'll be it. Like, if I can, you know, you know, it's, I think it's the constant state of human mind, I guess, for people who are aware, for people who are just aware about life in general, that, things can be good and things can be bad at the same time. We are all just, we have to remember again, this, I don't want to keep on getting repetitive about it. You just cannot, you know, you just cannot always look upwards towards the people and towards the people's position where you are trying to be at, and then think to yourself that, oh my God, why am I in this position? But at the same point of time, you just cannot be looking downwards and thinking that, oh, these are less fortunate people. I just I don't deserve any happiness. That's that's self-sabotage at the highest of levels, because at the end of the day, you gotta remember life is more about balance than anything else, you know. Although you are aware of its, although you were like aware of its unfairness and maybe burdened by it, and maybe you're mourning reality while simultaneously being um, grateful for the existence that you have. Uh, you do have to realize that when both of those two exist, you gotta have the balance between those two, and that can lead all of us to certain moments and happiness, because we are not children anymore. When we were children, I think we were so ungrateful as children. A lot of us were ungrateful as children, that we used to think, and we used to find this, oh, this girl broke my heart, or this guy broke my heart, and we used to think that, oh, this is the worst. Little did we realize we are living, almost most of us at least would realize that we were probably living the best moments of our life. Um, and it's only now in nostalgia that it hits me or you and a lot of other people that, oh, that life was quite better, because you know happiness was in kind of abundance. Yeah, I got bullied, you got bullied. In general, on average, I'm saying, on average, most of us, especially kids born in the late 90s and the early 2000s, had decent lives, decent lives. um, and right now I see a lot of people, trying to search for that kind of happiness that we had when we were children. I guess you don't find that. I'm sorry, but you don't, because at that point in our lives, happiness was a constant. That was the that was like, how do I put it? That was the moment in time where happiness was like our default setting. Like, it came with us. It was just a default setting. It would take things, like, we needed to find reasons to get sad about, or be angry about, or be uh, heartbroken about. The girl didn't like us, this happened, that happened. I didn't get to go to the party. Uh, I was not invited. I'm not making too many friends. I'm not really popular. And then you come to an age like, I don't want to be popular. I don't want to be all this other stuff that I wanted to be at one point of time. I just want to be in that state of mind that I was when I was a child, basically. Um, and that's only possible if you realize that you have to be grateful for the position that you are at, you know, uh, and not, you know, think about the unfairness of life treating us the way it treats us sometimes, and realizing that it happens to everybody, and it's happening in um, a much more devastating way to some people, and for some people it's happening in a way where they don't even realize it's happening to them, so they're just fine with it. It's the middle people who are stuck between those two things, and it's us who can actually find the balance between those two and move forward. We have the best opportunities, you know, for doing that. So I hope you guys are doing great. I hope you guys have, wherever you are in the world, I hope you guys, if you are in America, I know this is almost like late and you guys are going to sleep. I hope you guys have a great time. You know, if during the day, if you're going at work, put a smile on your face and just be, you know, don't don't compare yourself to too many people, and just be not happy, but try to be content with what you are doing, you know. That's it. Um, uh, so yeah, man. I will now be on for another 6-7 minutes, and then I'll be gone. Shawty's like a melody in my head. I don't even get a single viewer most of the time. After this, I'm going live again, doing study session, essentially. Let me see what is going on it Twitter, and let me see if I can react to some stuff or read some news. I have really good internet connection. 10 years ago, I would not have hoped that we would have the kind of internet connection that we have now. It's so unreal. When it was back in 2014, 13, the internet connection was so. The internet speed was good here in India, but you should pay almost like $5 for a GB of data. That was ridiculous. A GB of data, just imagine. In today's day and age, people are uploading videos. I mean, my live stream is probably a few GBs of data. Let's see. Oh my God. You don't know lonely until you have to take yourself for that meal alone, because sitting in a room with strangers is better than sitting in your own thoughts in an empty room. This is something I will talk about in my next coming episodes, about being lonely versus being content with solitude, two different things. Have you seen Askren? Do you guys know Askren? Askren is this American Olympian wrestler, and he was one of the most dominant fighters when he was in Bellator and won. Never really got the recognition that he should have gotten, because he spent most of his time in lower rung organizations. He was very strong, 40 years of age. He got a pneumonia. Life being unfair, again, life being unfair. Here's another point, life being unfair. He got pneumonia, and severe pneumonia, and he didn't think much about it. Comes from a wrestling background, of course. Those motherfuckers are really tough. And he thought to himself that what is happening to me? And then by the time he reached hospital, he actually passed out, and he went into a coma for 60 days almost, or more than that. And the perspective is that he went into a coma, got a double lung transplant, and he said that, why did it happen to me? Why me? Ben talked about it. Why did it happen to me? But the truth is, it happened. And he said, I didn't smoke weed. I didn't do anything. I never smoked a cigarette, but yet this happened to me. Why? And he could have self-sabotaged himself, thinking the condition he was in, because he had lost 40 pounds, and the condition he was in was unreasonably sad. I mean, I was sad looking at him, because I saw this fighter and I saw him bulldog choke. A bulldog choke in jiu-jitsu is like when you hold somebody's head like that, right? You hold somebody's somebody said like that, it often happens in street fights, and you hold him like that, and he choked out a world champion with holding him like that. And people will say, oh, it was like a early stoppage or whatever, but you know, basically what I'm trying to say, for that person to be not be able to walk even, but he was like, it happened to me, I can't do shit about it. The only thing that I can do is not think about life being unfair to me and just move forward. I'm paraphrasing right here, but that's what he said, and he moved forward. And he moved forward. Right now he can walk, he can eat his own meals. You know, it's sad, yeah, even now, because he barely can lift a 5 pound dumbbell, but he is all smiles, and he is doing, just he's living for his wife. His wife is great, there's kids, and they can learn from his example. Like, dad has had the worst thing happen to him when it was kind of almost unfair on another level, you know, but he pushed forward. And for kids to see that and to go through that, and with their parent showing them who they are, how brave they are to go through a situation like this, can create a lasting impact on kids. So, you know, I also think of that in, you know, when I think about the unfairness of life, when I think about my friend who failed in a similar way that I did, but had the leverage of life, um, being coming from a generational wealthy family, um, went on an international trip because his parents wanted him to chill out, while my parents were like under pressure and thinking, what will people say? And I was thinking what I would do next, and I had no clue what I wanted to do next. And he went on this international trip, and I was self-loathing myself. Oh, why was I born in this kind of situation? The only thing you can do is not self-loathe and look at situations the same way that Ben did, and look at the world from a different lens, not just from your own, and just move forward at times. I always think about those kids in Gaza. I always think about the kids I used to see in the cancer hospital when I took my uncle, who was suffering from colorectal cancer again, to the hospital. My young cousin, and there was a niece I had who had lost her father to suicide. They are going through way worse things than I have ever went through. They have gone through all that, and my uncle's daughter could barely understand what was going on with her dad, and she used to pray to God. That little soul, she was 6 years old, 5 years old, and she used to pray in front of God, just make my dad better, because he was losing weight, and he was just a shell of his former self at that point of time. In 2020, 21, it was so hard. His thing started in 2017. It was so hard for him, and for me to see all that and understand that, yeah, life has been unfair to me by some metric, but it isn't unfair to the metric that I think it is. It's just an illusion I have created for myself, and that has helped me to move forward. And with that, I think, with that in mind, I hope it will help you to move forward as well. With that being said, have a great time. And if you show up for me, if you watch this video, I'll clip a certain portion of it. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Even a view or two, if I can reach out even to a single person, that would be something that's very, that is something that is very close to my heart. If I can just help one people, even, I'll be very, very happy. And this entire time I didn't even get a single viewer. Let me check again if something is going on with the world. 2 million in Thailand, Mexico, Serbia. It's 2 lifetimes in New York. It's one stress decade. Location multiplies wealth. Of course it does. I'm just reading something off Twitter. I mean, shit is crazy what is going on in America. America is so costly, dude. I always wanted to go there for an education, but it's always been a dream. It's still a dream, but I don't know if I'll be, you know, it's getting crazy over there with all this Charlie Clark's death and everything. Uh, Not just that, with all the cost of living just fucking being through the roof. America, Canada, UK, all the Five Eyes country, economy-wise, they are in a great position, but people to people, for the general public, they're going through rough times. People are going through rough times everywhere, but it's unbelievably rough in some portions of this very developed nations, and it has been done. What can I say? Just illegal immigration, just politics. There's all these countries, including India, have these two parties that are just radically opposite to each other. And these people are not enemies or anything. They are just playing the game. Everybody wants to be in power. One is playing the conservative game, one is playing the liberal game. That's the case in India as well. Although there's different parties that exist, there are like the system is quite different to what America has. The situation in here is just crazy as well in certain regards. Like, I never thought of a life in India where you would need $2,000, $3,000 a month to live comfortably, which has become quite the reality. Not in my city, but in some other cities that you live in, Mumbai, Bangalore, all these other places, it's crazy what's happening over there. There was this one, there's one apartments in Gurgaon uh, that are getting sold for, I think, what is 100 crores equivalent of dollars? It's getting sold for 100 crores, or what is its equivalent in dollars? Let me check. So it's 1.13 million, if I'm not wrong. Oh, no, it's $11 million. I'm sorry, my bad. It's $11 million. It's going for $11 million. And you see one good rainy season and everything is flooded in front of those apartments. It's bullshit how everything is just going through the roof. You know? People might say, oh, we enjoy views. Yeah, shut the fuck up. You're enjoying nothing. You're just enjoying the prestige and think that money brings you everything. Money does solve a lot of problems, but not everything. I believe it's stupid. I didn't get a single viewer even today. That's great. I don't mind this. I don't mind this at all. I would have to go now. 10:39. It's almost 10:40. 39 minutes. I did 39 minutes of time. Just a few more things. Oh, Tucker Carlson. Waffle. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. What? I'm just freeballing at this stage. No UFC this week, but Dominick Reyes is back next week. Yeah, I'm excited about Dominick. Dominick has the most underdog story. Another one. Ooh, that dude was so good. If you watch the UFC, you will know who Dominick Reyes is. He fought arguably the greatest of all time and lost a very controversial decision. In my opinion, the most controversial decision I have ever seen in fighting was this one. It was, in my opinion, it was 3-2. Even Dana White said it was 3-2. He lost that fight and then went on a loss streak. Like, again, 3-4 losses in a row. And apart from that loss, every single one of them was by a knockout, and he was knocked out brutally. Put his faith in God, kept on just training, came back, and now is almost at the cusp of another championship, shot. One more win. He fights Carlos Alberg next week in Perth. One more win, and he has been knocking dudes out. I think he has like 3 knockouts in a row after him being knocked out 3 times in a row. 3, 4 knockouts, I don't know. And now he has the opportunity to, if he beats this guy from New Zealand, Carlos Alberg, he fights for the championship. And if he wins the championship, Jesus fucking Christ, it would be the most insane comeback underdog story that there has ever been, because everybody just counted him out and we all loved an underdog story. That's why my live stream is underdog, because I'm quite not doing well in life, and I really hope that God will allow me to make that comeback as well, Uh, seems like boring talk as well. Let me see for another few minutes if I can get a live viewer. Just one live viewer. If I don't, I'll probably quit. Let me share a box till then. Oh my god. Oh fuck, dude. I work out. I'm just not built like that, but I try to work out all the time. In fact, I'm really strong actually, although it doesn't show probably that much, and especially because of the lighting, it doesn't show really well, but I work out a lot. I do weighted pull-ups, weighted dips on rings, really heavy weighted pull-ups, like 40 kg weighted pull-ups for 3-4 reps. 3 reps most of the time, not 4. I have never reached 4 reps. I'd be lying if I said that. But yeah, man, I am kind of strong. Um, but it doesn't show up because I usually train for strength rather than muscles. So there's 2 different ways to train about it. But more of that probably later. I'll just wait for 5 minutes or so. And then if I have this chance, I will talk about it in some later streams. I have a lot of stuff, I want to talk about. Self-improvement. And this is generally this is my form of cardio that I do. I hate running. I hate doing a lot of other stuff, but I really love doing shadowboxing. So I'm not good at it either, but I try to be. No viewers. No viewers.
I don't want to get sweaty.
Uh, so ending note, I'll be uploading this video, a clip of it probably, to YouTube. And I go, guys, I hope you guys, if you show up for me, it would be great. Um, not trying to make a living out of this or anything like that. I'm just trying to be consistent about something. You know, build accountability for myself and so on and so forth. Um, hope everything I said made sense to you in some extent, to some extent, or in some capacity. And I hope I'm trying to do a good job. I'm not very engaging yet, I believe, because I have watched one of my videos. I'm not yet very engaging, but I want to keep it raw, With time, maybe if I get a viewer or two during my live stream, maybe then I will start getting some, maybe then I will start getting some um, more fluency or fluidity in how I say things or how I do things. I'm kind of nervous as well putting myself in front of camera like this in front of the world. Even if it's like I'm getting averaging like 12, 13 views. Um, even that is a lot for me because I generally don't go out in public and talk like that. I'm not. It's not like I'm not confident, but it's not like I'm not nervous either. It just comes with being human, I guess. So I guess, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys have a great time. You know, good night to people who are in America or any part of the world that's going to sleep, and have a good day to anybody where it's daylight. So I'll see you in probably about an hour or so in my study streams. If you want to do a study stream with me, I would be very happy to do so with you guys. Thank you.